So tell me about it. What's this story that I haven't heard so much about?
Well, this is a story over 50 years old when I was about Kaya's age. 50 years ago, my dad, who I adored, was dying of cancer. And at that time, there was articles in the newspaper that there was a miracle drug in Mexico called Laetrile. And Laetrile was apparently made from the pits of apricots. Unfortunately, at that time, it wasn't legal in Canada or the United States. So I had no way of getting hold of it until I heard via the grapevine that there was a way to get it from a person in Montreal. Now, at the time, Montreal was a strange city. I'd never been there, nor had I ever flown. And I was terrified of flying. But this was to help my dad. So I booked the first available flight, which happened to be the day before Christmas. I drove to the airport and I took with me a jar of gin, which I went into the bathroom and drank before getting on the plane, hoping it would make me less nervous. I'm not sure whether it did or not, but I did make it to Montreal. Once I got there, I took a taxi, and I didn't want the taxi driver to see me going into some place where you buy illegal drugs. So I got out a few blocks away and I walked, and it turned out that the address was a drugstore. I went into the drugstore, spoke to the man behind the counter and told him my name. He gave me the drugs. I paid him cash, of course. I don't recall them as being terribly expensive. I just remember the feeling that everyone could tell that I was carrying illegal drugs with me. It was paranoia. I was especially nervous that I was going to have to go through security at the airport. So I had to have a way to camouflage them. So I went into a variety store and I bought Christmas wrapping paper and tape and a nice Christmas bow and a box of Pampers. And then I proceeded to find a public washroom and pack my illegal drugs in the box, wrap it up in Christmas wrapping paper, and put a bow on it so it looked like I was carrying a Christmas present. Well, it was the day before Christmas, so that looked a little more believable. So I grabbed a taxi back to my afternoon flight and did make it through security without them being able to tell that I was doing something quite illegal and got on the plane to come home. Unfortunately, the weather was terrible and there was the worst lightning storm. And this was in a propeller plane, which really didn't seem to handle the turbulence very well. We were up and down and sideways. It was most disconcerting. And I was sitting beside a young man who was clearly a Catholic priest. And he explained to me that if the plane went down, which he thought to be quite likely, that he was quite ready to meet his maker. Well, I wasn't ready to meet mine. I remember that. I wasn't too thrilled with him. Anyway, we did land the plane in London, and I was so relieved. I was able to drive back to Woodstock, where we were living at the time, in time to participate in the candlelight service at the church where my husband was a minister, and my daughter and he and I led the candlelight service that night. So it was quite a day. It was one I'll never forget. Unfortunately, the drugs were unable to help my father at all. he was much too sick by this time. But, I mean, let's face it, something made out of apricot pits? Maybe.
If we were to find a miracle drug, would you be interested in taking that?
Hey, I'm taking them now. Here I am. I mean, a year ago, a doctor in Clinton suggested I had a week or two. So that was a year ago. Here I am. That's how I became a drug smuggler.
What's the statute of limitations on that one? Getting your admission right on.
I'm
on
sure
the mic.
there's been a lot more drugs smuggled since then, and it wasn't smuggling something to cure cancer.